Let's see how things start out though. With our bans coming through first and foremost, it's BDS on the defense. They're starting out with our attacker bans. We'll see what that first one's going to be in just a couple of seconds. Target ban or generic ban. It's a pretty generic ban.
Very about as generic as they come, to be fair. Thatcher will be the first to go. MNM will take out our next attacker. We'll see who that's going to be. They were pretty decisive in that. It's going to be Montagna, which, I mean, we did see some big Monty players in APAC, particularly onto this site. We've seen them in EU as well, I think. You know, Monty looking to push in towards the top of Black Stairs, get in, get the diffuser down. So not too much of a surprise to see Monty go.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think this is more of a personal thing for MNM because BDS aren't exactly a huge Monty team. They will play it. We've seen them use it, but they're not a huge Monty team. And MNM also banned this away against G2. G2, for some reason, seem to always have themselves as someone who's willing to play a Monty on side, but MNM do also want to make sure that Operator simply is not available. The Kaid pairing with the Thatcher makes total sense, and Valkyrie is going to surprise absolutely no one. It does mean things like the Maverick stay on side here, so positions like the exhibition wall will be much more easily opened. We'll see exactly what the focus is and where the defense starts off for BDS. It's going to be over in Karaoke and T. And with that tried and tested smoke still available, of course, Playday is going to be jumping straight onto that in round one, Tim.
Yep, not too much of a surprise. We just never know what to expect from BDS at the minute. The first couple of rounds will likely be particularly telling. At the minute, Playday just getting straight in there and opening up the lines of sight that they need so that they can defend a little bit vertically against any plants that come in, opening up the rotations through to Geisha and to top Black Stairs. So all pretty standard setup in terms of the defence here. Mute Jam are going to look to block out both of those Geisha walls. I think there'll be a presence in Drum, given that there's ADSs going down there, shield over towards Shrine. So it looks like, yep, definitely extending out towards Drum, towards Dragon, try and keep hold of them as much as possible.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing this Drum hold as well. I can think back to many games, especially one with Rogan, for example, forget who they were against, when there was a massive bottleneck essentially being formed around Drum, and that was where you saw the main scrap coming through. I dig back through my old match sheets, actually. Might be able to find where it was they played. It was Rogue against BDS, actually, interestingly, back in Stage 1 at the end of March. That was when BDS were holding down very aggressively against Drum, so I would not be massively surprised if MNM have done their homework here, look back at that game against Rogue and taken a few lessons into this.
Tyrant going to be looking to get up to the balcony potentially. Needs to be careful. There's always the possibility of the run out from Shrine. I don't think there's anybody playing that aggressively for BDS at the minute. There is not. They're going to have the alibi decoy on the window as well, just to prevent any sort of quick entry going in there. We're actually going to have Breeder just relocating a shield there, I think, just giving it a little manoeuvre. I think there's one still over towards Shrine, but not one towards Drum anymore. Solotov is going to pick things up to begin with. He's going to find Renshiro, and that is a big start for MNM, taking an advantage. 5 versus 4.
Yeah, that's the alibi off the board as well. I was looking back at the comps that we saw BDS play against Rogue last stage as well. The only real difference here is there is no Melusi. Instead, they're bringing along the Mute here, so looking to try and slow down MNM's drone game. But I'm looking at MNM and just seeing, I'm seeing the Ossa, I'm seeing the Ying and thinking, damn, that's a big execute comp. A good way to shut that down, of course, is to remove the Ossa. A very comfortable C4 coming out from Elem, shuts that one down. And Shaiko finds Nello off on the south balcony. Elem's almost losing his life as well in the crossfire, but backing himself safely here towards the top of Shrine.
Nice turnaround for BDS there. It was an aggressive nitro coming out from Elems. He did expose himself onto Black Stairs door to do it, but got the job done. Tyrant just looking to work quietly up those Black Stairs and try and get a little sneaky flank angle into sight. But he's not likely to find anybody at the moment, I don't think. Just conscious of the potential of any cams there. Valk is off the board, so not going to be any Valk cams, but potentially bulletproofs or anything else. Chaco manages to find another. Solotov's just solitary sort of roaming, just getting himself inside a Geisha at the minute. See if he can get anybody. He knows there's somebody on these stairs, but you're going to have to keep looking. He sees the barrel of the gun, and it's as easy as that. Solotov finding Rafał, and that leaves us now 3v2. Still BDS with the advantage, but 55 seconds and a bit of time here for two of the top fraggers for MNM.
Yeah, and Shaiko's managed to dip his way across from inside of Karaoke and across towards the tea room here as we get into that last 45 seconds or so. Freed out now from those gas canisters that were ringing out towards Black Stairs. They can step forward. Tyrant finds one, turns on towards top Shrine and gets another as well. And Solotov turns it around. Boys, a 4v2 lost out by BDS.
That feels a little bit like Eminem of just out BDS'd BDS.
Doesn't it just? That would have been the kind of round that BDS would have won a year ago.
Exactly that, where you're just in that position where it's looking difficult, you don't have the numbers, and yet you still go in and get the win. You know, fantastically done from Eminem there. Tyrant and Solotov just standing tall, getting the job done, 2 versus 3, and still locking it down for Eminem. And it's a good first attack. You know, T and Karaoke can be touch and go sometimes. We've seen defenders struggling recently to hold on to it, but that's a good start for Eminem. They could well, going back to T and Karaoke here, BDS, Eminem could well get a second round on top of this quite easily with this attack onto T and Karaoke, and at that point BDS, they have to move and they might be struggling.
One thing I'm really excited about from that round is the fact that we've just seen Tyrant go big as well on that closing play, because Tyrant this stage has been a little bit quieter for these guys. Yeah, normally we talk about the big front three of Tyrant, Yuzus and Solotov, and Tyrant's been kind of in the shadows a little bit, playing a more flex role, more supportive for the team and not going absolutely nuclear on the kills. For him to start off big in this round, if Yuzus also shows up, there's no slowing this team down once all 3 of those frontline fraggers get going, and this could be the game where you see Tyrant wait back up.
Tyrant's going to be heading in, taking down both the default cams on his side of the map. It looks like there's going to be maybe a bit more attention this time to the office and exhibition side. It was a side that Eminem didn't really touch last time around. It was very much focused around top black stairs, getting themselves into Geisha. It was Solotov playing inside of there. So this time they're going to go for that sweep across from the top floor. BDS set their defences up last time with that in mind. It looks like they've done so again this time, and those defences might just be a little bit more worthwhile.
I'm wondering if the play comes in from below here, because we're very used to seeing that. Nades coming in from below in bedroom just to clear out anything that might be on the wall, looking towards things like mute jammers. If there's a bandit, it'll be dealt with as well. But here, no real need as already. They've marched their way straight on through. Not really a big extended hold coming out from BDS here. It's light as it was previously. Renshiro this time round not going to be the opening death. Instead, it's the big man from last round, Solotov, who had the 3K.
And that's a dead reverse of the opener that we saw last time out. It was Solotov onto Renshiro. Renshiro getting his revenge and his just rewards this time. Tyrant is going to be playing in towards Dragon, and the difficulty here is, like I say, last time Eminem not really playing into BDS's defences, whereas this time that is more so going to be the case. We can see that they've got the shield set up. We can see the ADSs. We can see the utility that is there. In goes the Rotero drone, but it's going to get jammed out. Shaco takes the opportunity to take down Tyrant as well. Beautiful headshot, and that leaves us now Eminem in a 3 versus 5. They do manage to get the shield cleared eventually, but they paid a heavy price for it.
Wonderful time by Shaco as well, identifying that small window he had when the nade came flying through to go for the peak and then back away before it managed to catch him on the way out. They do lose top shrine, but if you have to concede top shrine to take out a player, you are not going to be saying no anytime soon. Another Rotero coming through, shield now taken out, but 2 players looking to challenge here on towards this drum door, Tim. This is a real hard bottleneck to break.
Yeah, BDS need to ensure that they don't start losing gunfights, and that's exactly what happens to kick us off. Yuzus manages to get the kill onto Playday. 50 seconds left to go. No more use of Toxic Babe canisters. We saw one deployed just before Payday's death, but that will be the last, and now Eminem can start this push forward, but they're going to have to move quickly. They can't take too long here. Yuzus knows that there's somebody hard left, but the default cam will spot him out. Playday likely doing his work there after he has died. Noah just trying to join the push. Might be looking to get that double wall open in behind gold bars, and then he can start thinking about getting a plant down, but Neo's going to take an absolute ton of damage as he tries to take the challenge onto the alibi of Renshiro. 20 seconds left to go. Yuzus with a kill. 3 versus 2 as BDS find one of their own as well. Nello getting the window open, but it's not looking good right now as Shaco finds the kill onto him shortly after. Yuzus is cut down for the end of the round, and that's going to be Renshiro closing things out, and we find ourselves BDS 1, Eminem 1.
Much better round as well than I thought from BDS. Sure, they lost a bit of a wild swing coming in from Drum, but outside of that, didn't look super challenged at any point throughout the round. Just classic stuff. You see him trying to push into top shrine. You're going to concede away the shield, but at least you get the kill back on the other side to really keep things going there as well. Didn't feel like Eminem were particularly too passive either. Actually thought they had the right sort of idea in what they were trying to do. They were willing to take risks. Just couldn't quite get it done fast enough there on the clock. Round 3 we step into, and as you might expect, we now step away from that site. Of course, when you win a site, you can't repeat it then for the next 2 rounds. Exhibition and Office, where BDS are going to set up their next defense.
No surprise to see them just move across to the other side of the top floor. It is the secondary site, generally speaking. And then normally, as a third choice, we go into kitchen barbecue, but we have seen a little bit of a sort of emergence of master bedroom as being a tertiary option as well. So it'll be interesting if BDS get this one where they actually head for that third defensive site. But they've got 3 minutes to hang on before they get to make that choice, with MNM looking to get themselves a second successful attacking round. This, for me, tends to be, and I'm surprised that Karaoke Tea maintains its position as the primary defensive site, because often teams struggle more to attack this site. I can think of fewer plants going down than generally happen on Karaoke Tea.
The one for this site I'm looking at is the sudden change that we saw from Neo. He was going to be on the Maverick at first and changed away for the Sledge last second. If it was a Maverick, you're trying to go straight through the bandit that you'd see on the exhibition wall. Now, or in the office wall, sorry. Now we're in a spot where with the Sledge on side, I'm looking at it and just thinking, okay then, no one that can open up this wall by themselves independently, but a lot of nades they can play for vertically. They've got 6 in back pockets across their 3 operators here. So to me, we're probably going to see MNM try and get in below, get some nades downstairs here, which is why you've got Shaiko trying to contest, because those nades onto the floor on the other side of the exhibition wall, or the office wall, sorry, again, means that you're able to blow away any mute jammers, any bandit batteries that you're going to see placed there. Just helps you soften up the defenders before you do get that wall opened up.
Ranshiro just applying those ADSs, 2 of them going to be in Dragon, which signals his ambition to hold on to that area. Going to be challenging onto Shrine Wall. Geisha Wall gets opened up as well. Ranshiro doesn't get himself any Iana, just gets himself a Gemini decoy, and will continue to try and hold on here. But that now means, you saw him, clearly solid top, but Ranshiro gets a double, manages to find Tyrant as well, and that is another terrible start for MNM in round 3.
You'll probably be asking questions there about the droning coming through, about the nade play they're intending to make. Like, sure, there are ADSs scattered there, but you've got a number of flashbangs in Nello's back pocket at this point as well. You've got to be looking to clear out these critical locations, because right now it's still very, very comfortable for the side of BDS. They can just sit here, have barely had to move their feet yet, but already 2/3 of the round are gone, Tim.
LM's still locked in behind that shielding dragon as well, supporting Ranshiro, who we saw get the double earlier in the round. Rafal just going to be waiting his time. He's the last line of defence with that shotgun, just waiting for anybody who tries to push in through terrace, and he might get a little bit of joy in a minute. Breeder is going to be using those glasses on the ward, and Neo manages to find Rafal, but if they try to push in here thinking they've got the cover of smoke or flash, they are going to be surprised. Breeder, he can just tank that little bit of damage that will come in from the nade, and he can keep himself in that tough angle. It's going to be fascinating to see whether MNM have been able to drone him out or not. Are they aware of his presence? They absolutely are. That forces Breeder away. Ranshiro, however, stepping up again. 3 kills on the round, 1 onto Neo. 4 versus 2, 30 seconds.
I was really worried about the diligence there as well, but Yuzus gets that kill onto Shaiko. Still 3 remaining in those last 25 seconds. Yet again, it's Nello and Yuzus finding themselves at a numbers disadvantage with a lot of work still to do. They've got themselves pushing on the way through, but there's 2 or 3 players holding this angle. It's so tough when one of them is a Warden as well, because he can just so easily deny you out. C4 comes out from Alems, doesn't find onto anyone. Yuzus coming around. Breeder finds the kill. Nello into a second, but with 2 still to do, there's just no way they can carry that one on. Tim, what I loved about that round, though, was some of the diligence being shown by MNM. That mute jammer blocking them getting through the single doorway coming in from terrace there. It would have been easy to get rid of the mute jammer, open the wall, and then start your play, but they get back on drones. They spot Breeder out. I forget what game it was. I want to say it was Pones, but I may be wrong, when there was a player sat in that spot with a shotgun, and they picked up a 3K, if you remember.
Yes, they did.
Players just rounded the corner one after another. There was no droning coming through. It was all too easy. So at the very least, MNM are taking the right steps, just not quite finding the result they need.
Well, this is a problem. Ranshiro just dominated the round from Dragon, really. There was an attempt to clear him out of there, but they just didn't have the answer to that problem. As you say, MNM having the answer to some and not to others. Ranshiro on the castle this time, going to be using the super shorty just to try and remodel a little bit before getting those castle barricades up as well. It's going to be kitchen and barbecue, as I suggested that it might be for the tertiary site here for BDS. There's going to be a lot of attention paid to the upstairs, I would imagine. They're going to be trying to hold on to Geisha for as long as possible, likely Karaoke as well, the 2 areas that are directly above the site. They don't want to give up those verticals, and Rafala is going to be up there on the Aruni, just remodeling to put the rotations needed and everything else into sight so that it is prepared.
Interesting choice here from Yuzus being the Amaru, right? Normally you'd see this if you want to spring your way up and try and get some cheeky plant off inside of Karaoke and T when your team's got you set up from top black, but with us not being on that site, I'm thinking here it's to get quick control of an area of the map. Normally it's in the early round. You want to see that Gara hook come out, spring into a key location, and cut off a rotate back towards site, for example, from the defenders. But with it not being used inside the first 30 here, I just don't imagine we're going to see all that much use from it.
Now Solotov taking peeks inside of the map, not managing to catch anybody at the minute. I don't think that BDS are going to be giving them anything that easy so far. BDS actually looking pretty good today. Consistency has been an issue for them, as we've said. They've not really been as good as we've seen them, particularly over the years. If you look, over the last 3 months, they've probably been about as good as they have over the last 3 months, because they haven't been fantastic. If we look further back, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, then no, this is certainly not peak BDS at the minute. But going well so far today. We've got a minute into the round. MNM haven't got themselves inside of the map yet, so BDS with a nice setup there, looking to challenge. Tyrant it is who manages to get in first. He's going to be progressing through Dragon, still trying to get towards Karaoke. Mute Jammers again blocking progress there, as well as Operators. Got Legion there of Shaiko just coming out and practically body blocking that drone.
There we go, challenge coming on to Tyrant maybe here as he steps away for the reload. Yeah, BDS just feel quite sharp in their response, just like this. They're more than happy to get aggressive. It's mainly come from Renshiro and Shaiko so far. 6-1 and 5-2 for 11-3 across these first 4 rounds. Not bad going for the French duo.
Not at all. Shaiko going fantastically well. He was a little bit quiet last play day, but as you say, certainly not tonight. He's feeling it. He's hitting his shots, and that is always a dangerous prospect. Jesus looking for the peak, just trying to get something going for MNM here. It feels like they've stalled out in this round. There's 2 minutes. They've not progressed past Drum or Dragon, and that is the kill that they needed. Jesus takes down a Lems. It's going to allow them to start pushing into that corridor, but there's still a lot of work to be done on top floor.
Absolutely. This is the worry, right? That's top floor. We're in the last 60 seconds, and they don't really have full control up here yet, let alone the actual site itself. Fuse is starting to work his way down. Don't think he's aware of the man inside a T. There are still 2 players holding up here on the top. And I think the Legion has a loose idea they might be coming pushing up this way. So Usus has dug himself in behind the shield, sort of taken that position away from BDS and is waiting for the rotate to come through from those players. But by the looks of it, they've headed up towards Black to get back down towards site. Playday just ready and waiting, and we know what this man's like with an SMG, Tim.
He's going to peek around this corner any second. Renshiro getting the kill, just gives him the signal to go for it. Finds Solotov. Renshiro with another. Renshiro's having a fantastic game so far. Shaiko finishes things off, and honestly, this does not look like the BDS team that we have seen so far this stage.
This is the BDS team we wanted to see from day one. The team that we have been waiting to see now for probably 9 months since BIOS got picked up after the Mexico major. We
absolutely certain, Des, will remember MNM tactical timeouts.
I think we all do at this point,
Back
Tim.
in stage 1, that was the first time that it happened. It was against BDS. MNM called that tactical timeout. BDS were actually on 6 at the time, if I recall correctly. And it was either 5 or 6. MNM basically ran it back, won every single round after the tactical timeout. I think it was 5 in a row to take the victory overall. It was an unbelievable performance.
That happened on the first play of this stage against Rogue as well on Chalet.
It did. That's where I say that my sort of long running joke about M&M tactical timeouts starts against BDS. So there's possibly a little bit of a traumatic memory in there for them. They're going to have to just forget about it. They're going to have to push forward. Right now, I don't think there's a tactical timeout big enough to slow down this BDS
Everyone's
side.
brave until Eminem takes a tactical timeout, right?
Exactly that. Everyone's got a plan until Eminem takes a tactical timeout. But I don't think there's a big enough tactical timeout to slow this BDS side down at the minute. They're going fantastically well. They're hitting the shots. They're obviously playing for fun. And I think it's going to be difficult. We'll see in the next round or two, but I'm liking BDS for a few more here. This could be a 5-1.
It's Renshiro in the early round as well that's been the aggressive part so far. Rounds 2 and 3, Solotov was the entry death to Renshiro in both. He had no impact in the last round either, so outside of the 3K that we saw Solotov find in round 1, his impact hasn't really been felt in the game, and that is where I think they're missing something on the entry, is that BDS have just been far more ferocious.
Going to have the pulse underneath. Lems is going to be feeding that information in, just wanting to keep an eye on that double wall that's just been breached, and they will try to push in. And the thing is, that is just pure information for BDS. Right, they are pushing from office exhibition side. They don't need to make the challenge unsuccessful from a Lems. They don't need to make a direct face check. They don't need to make a direct challenge, but they know that they can leave all their utility facing towards there, and they know that Dragon and Drum is going to be the war zone. They've got a Lems underneath, so he can play to prevent any of those vertical nades coming in and having an impact. This is again a good setup from BDS.
It's looking good. Lem's now darting his way back underneath as well to keep on doing what he's doing. But with that barricade coming out, I know it looks late and a little bit random, but the sound it makes as things are cleared out there will be absolutely wonderful. We saw this before because Shaiko found that wonderful shot as he backed away once the nade came flying on through here. That's why he's got more magnets coming out to try and keep him safe from those nades as they come flying in. So now it's your move, Eminem. How are you going to clear him out?
That's it. It's, you know, Eminem have tried their first solution to a difficult problem. Haven't worked, so now they need a plan B. You know, they need to be able to adapt and shake this up. It might come to somebody peeking this and just trying to win a gunfight. And that is perfectly played. Jesus goes in on the back of a Rotero and manages, as Playday is distracted, to find that opener.
Just basics again. You know, you want to get rid of the Rotero. It's going to clear away a crucial bit of utility. You go for the shotgun pump there. The time between shots is enough that you can swing in and get the kill. So a good bit of team play, but again, BDS let themselves get swung in that drum spot without any cover coming in from top red. Twice it's happened now as well. Nade comes in, Renshiro being taken down. He's been the raid boss this game, Tim. He's 9-2. So to have him out here at 45 seconds to go is a dream for Eminem.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's only managed to have the impact of 1 kill on this round, which may well still prove enough, but it's not as many as he's been putting down previously. Really, we're looking for Rafal and Alems to really step up here. Shaiko still on the board, does manage to find one. 3v3, can he find another? No, shut down by Nello. 3v2 now as Eminem managed to continue this war of attrition, just grinding BDS down by getting that trade every single time, by finding that kill. Rafal, he has to drop away. He thinks that's the best move to live to fight another day, but this could be an opportunity for Eminem to get this diffuser down. Out goes the C4. It does enough. It downs Nello. It's 2v2. It's 2v1. BDS might just have done this. Neo has no option but to put the diffuser down, but you got to get upstairs quickly. Alems can find him from underneath. Can he find the shots? No, he can't. Rafal doesn't know exactly where he is. Manages to find the shotgun kill in the nick of time, and he can disable that diffuser. That was close for Neo.
Wasn't it just? Yeah, he turned tail to run. It was a very fair call to make. He didn't want to get sprayed from below, but in turning his back, just invited that free shotgun swing to come through. A shame because that's the closest Eminem have been so far. Maybe BDS now don't fear the tactical timeout, Tim, because they found the answer. That play from below, pulse feeding information all around. Eminem, no idea he was down there. And that C4 really did just send things to absolute chaos, to be completely honest with you as well. Good drop from Rafali, finds a 3K in the round as well. BDS are still looking cool and composed.
Yeah, it was well played from them. I like that. I was a little bit concerned. Rafal drops underneath. I'm thinking, if this Nitro doesn't pan out, you've just caused yourself a big problem, because you're going to have to push back up into a force of 3 attackers. But it just about did the job, just about managed to take Nello down, and then a couple of good kills flooded in from underneath and just left BDS in a great position to close out the round. And they would have been, to be fair, very hard done to had Neo managed to escape from that plant and be able to cover it. So it was well played from BDS. 4-1 now on the scoreboard, and they're going to take their final defensive round in Exhibition and Office. And I tell you what, this could be a quick day at the office for them.
It could if it carries on at this pace, but we also heard Kendrew on the interview after the Secret versus Poems game saying there are 2 halves to a game of Siege. We've said that for as long as time can be. We've seen 6-0 halves get turned 8-6 on the other side. Sandbox will know that better than anyone back when Consulate was still in the map pool, drastically losing what was meant to be a surefire win. So crazier things have happened.
Tyrant going to get himself up onto the balcony, just very conscious of the potential for a jump out. It's not going to come, don't worry, Tyrant. But he doesn't have, of course, the good grace that we do of the silhouettes inside. So BDS lining up reasonably defensively. They're all over on the Exhibition side, apart from Renshiro here. 9-2. He's wanting to find himself some more. He's going to have to turn tail and run. Alems is trying to provide cover in case they were chasing. But a lot of damage done to Renshiro there.
A lot, yeah. Some, I think, friendly on the way out as well, unfortunately. But Tyrant not quite able to get himself all the way through. Well, he's pushing his way up towards Shrine here, sorry. Looking for that long angle down to try and cut things out. We've been here before, though, Tim, and they couldn't crack Dragon open last time.
No, they couldn't. Renshiro and Alems were able to hold on to it fantastically. Only one ADS there this time, which could be more of an issue. Nade may well be finding a little bit more joy this time. The Gemini decoy comes in, taken out, and that is going to tell them that there is nobody immediately in Dragon, but it may be a case that they don't know about Alems, who, as the decoy was shot out, just came back in through that rotate. This drone is going to be critical, and it tells them that Alems is there. So well played from users to double check on that. Good due diligence, but Renshiro, he's going to get aggressive in there as well. They don't know about him and Shaiko.
This is like when you're playing New Game Plus and it's extra hard, because I recall this setup actually when it was used against Rogue and there was only a man sat behind a shield with an ADS or two sat with him. Now you've got 3 players sat in this area of the map. So BDS really stacking areas where they really want to hold on to things and know that MNM are going to struggle. Good little drone behind though, giving a bit of information, and a great push coming in from Tyrant. Can't quite find a second. Alems equalising things back up.
They just don't have the answer to this Dragon hold yet, don't Eminem? They keep pushing in and they get 1 kill at most, and then BDS are able to fight back. Shaiko has got himself out of there as well, I think. Alems, he's just going to hold on to this for as long as possible. Interestingly, there's 3 nades, left on the side of the attackers MNM, so they need to get this shield dealt with. If they don't, they're not going anywhere.
It's pain because, again, you've got flashes in Nello's back pocket here that really should be raining on through, but all their focus instead
you're flashing yourself.
Flashing themselves. Yeah, still finds a kill through a half flash screen here. Yuzu's trying to step their way forward. Nades coming out, but Playday is ready for more flashes to follow on through. The thing is, MNM are completely out of throne utility. They're going to have to brute force their way through here, Tim, and it could get real messy.
And they've got Shaiko on the flank. 3v3. He sees his man. He can't find the shots. He's going to challenge from an alternative angle. We've got the site being opened up. The clock is almost certainly going to be the 6th man here. Playday, they don't know that he's there. It's going to be an easy kill. Shoots Nello in the back, and BDS take a 5-1 half, and they are cruising towards a victory right now.
I wouldn't be honestly shocked if for MNM this is similar to, again, also what Kendrick was talking about in the Poems game, in that they went back and analysed their play, but a lot of work has been done. They've been developed, because that's twice now we've seen BDS come out with that defence where they've had a couple of players watching the single doorway from Terrace. They've had 2 players who can very freely play around Dragon itself and contest up towards Shrine. And MNM have just been completely flabbergasted by what to do, probably because there are more players stacked into these key locations, but it's like trying to run your head through a brick wall. Really good defenses by BDS, completely shutting MNM out. Like you say, this could be a quick game if BDS are on it on the attacking side as well.
That's a big question now. We get into round 7. Can BDS maintain that momentum? We're going to have a presence downstairs, potentially. We've got the Azami just rotating. Likely to come back up, I think, and apply utility in and around maybe Dragon Drum area. I wouldn't have thought playing too heavily on the underneath. Obviously, Nello's ability to do anything from down there on the Azami would be limited. So I think it's more going to be about rotating around the map, applying utility where it's needed, and then Nello, as we usually see him, will probably get himself back to site.
Really stacking up on the hard breaches as well. 3 of them coming out in this round for BDS. I can't think of many maps except Clubhouse where we're used to seeing 3 hard breaches, and even these days in Clubhouse you don't really need 3. Most teams will just run 2, and in some rare cases even just go down to the 1. So really wanting to ensure walls are opened up here, not forgetting that the operators do bring along some valuable utility. The flashes in Thermite's back pocket, the frag grenades, making sure the team have got 6 to play from below if desired. Lots of options available to BDS.
Yeah, there certainly is. I think there's maybe an element of comfort in there. Like you say, triple hard breach, not really a requirement here. You know, something like the Maverick pick maybe will just be LMs being happy to have nades. Maverick and bring the nades. Yeah, it's not the gadget that's really being required. Nello is going to be getting aggressive, interestingly, away from sight as well. Heading his way back now. There we go. Going to get himself inside of Drum. Also supported by the Wamite of Neo in there. We've got Warden inside of Dragon. So quite a bit of mobility from these defenders on the MNM side as well. They're switching between Drum and Dragon quite freely at the minute. BDS not making too much immediate pressure, but we're only a minute in.
We've seen these kind of defenses from Rogue, from Sandbox over in APAC North, where you have a couple of players starting out towards the east, normally with a single player sat somewhere between Shrine and all the way down towards Drum, just to make sure your rotation back towards site is relatively safe. So Eminem doing the right thing here, pushing out in the map, making BDS fight for all the ground they want, killing off drones. They're down to 5, for example. Tried to force them to use nades, none of which have really been used so far. They're saving those for the site itself and to clear out these shields that I think Eminem are going to have to be very cautious of, because unlike BDS, they don't have the mute on side. The thing that was, also they do have the mute, but it's not stacked up behind the shield like we saw from BDS when they were holding this spot.
The Maverick comes in particularly useful in the end to get the mute jammer away and allow a little bit of access into Dragon. And we can see there the Azami is just going to be making it difficult with the Keeper Barricade to move through comfortably into Drum, and that Maverick will continue his work. Ilems has really actually done quite a bit of hard breaching, quite a bit more than expected necessarily. Playday on the drones at the minute, so we can't see if he's got any exothermics left, but Rafal limited on his Ibana pellets, so wouldn't have been able to open up a big enough breach himself. So probably a good job that they've gone for the triple.
Around that last 45 seconds though at this point. So sure, you've cleared out top shrine, for example. You've got rid of the shield. You're still looking to try and get control of drum. No one from MNM is looking to challenge that directly. But I'm a little bit nervous BDS have left this super late into the round and may well find themselves struggling. I imagine with this many hard breaches on side, you want to try and get the gold wall opened up and go for a plant inside a T. But for now, at least, it's nades singing on through. They're down to just one left and haven't really found too much with them.
More importantly, they're down to 20 seconds left, and BDS need to think about getting themselves inside a sight. Renshiro taking damage, Alem's taking damage. They're not really making any progress here. MNM are holding on nicely. Users gets the first one onto Renshiro, then Nello follows up onto Alem's. 3 versus 5, 8 seconds left to go. Shaiko with no option here really but to push directly into sight. There's a man hard left that is almost going to certainly get the kill, but no, Shaiko manages to find it. Playday going for the plant. It will be all over as they go in and find the knife kill to finish things off. Neo closes it out, and MNM get themselves the second round of Skyscraper.
Good start for both teams, I thought, in that round, actually. MNM good out on their own, wasting a good chunk of time, forcing drones to be burnt out to try and make sure MNM had definitely backtracked. And then once we saw BDS get control of the shield at the top of Shrine, for example, that's when things really slowed down. They kind of got to that point. It was like, okay, we need someone inside a Geisha. We need to have control of drum. There's still a lot of work for us to do here. And sadly, by then, the clock just ran down faster than you could blink. And before you know it, nothing was left on side. So a little bit more pace here needed from BDS. They're maybe not being afraid to burn drones to clear out areas of the map. I spoke before about how mute jammers are kind of glorified ADSs in some ways, especially behind single doors. You can't get a drone through the door, so you're forced to blow up the jammer on the other side. You have to use a nade for that sort of thing. Maybe BDS being a little bit too conservative with their utility in the early round.
Going to be over to Exhibition and Office for the secondary site for MNM here. BDS, as you say, maybe just needing to use that utility sooner, needing to just find some aggression. The thing is, they had good aggression on defense. They were, they had their line, they drew their line and they played behind it, but they were willing to step up and take gunfights and they were winning them. So they need to continue that trend here. They didn't win a single gunfight really where it came down to just a 50-50 fight. It all went towards MNM in round 7. They need to get in there now and just push MNM around a little bit, displace them. Let's see what MNM can do on defense when they're on the back foot.
I just had a thought. Every single stage so far, I think in the last, year and a half, we've seen Shaiko hit 100 kills, right?
Yeah. Last 5
He's got 3 games to go. He's at 70 kills.
Oh, he's definitely...
And he's got 10 this game as well.
He'll do it this stage.
Of course he will. The man is unbelievable.
He was. I remember that he was at 5. He was over 50. He's been meeting the pace.
Yeah.
I've sort of kept a loose eye on it, and he's definitely been meeting the pace.
About 11 kills per game is what you're looking for, and he is definitely already ahead of that, and will continue to be so after this game, as he is 1 kill shy of that. And knowing Shaiko, there will definitely be many more up that sleeve of his for him to bring out as the game progresses. Drone work coming in here out towards this west side of the map, so the total reverse to what we just saw in the last round. They'll start out towards Geisha, out towards Karaoke, T-side, coming through Shrine Balcony, for example, and then look to have that fight over towards Dragon and towards Terrace. Now, not forgetting, that was where BDS did really well at holding MNM up. So if MNM have copied that even in the slightest or have a similar strat in their strat book, this could be a real war for BDS to get control of.
Usus has been able to deny now 2 Selma charges. 1 will detonate at least for 1, but that is going to be all as he manages to keep a barricade over the breach that has been created as well.
There's
and
one
that is
as well.
That's BDS backing out. They've just said, nope, we're not going to get that open.
Really had a war over that single wall. It's the power of the Azami as well, just constantly filling up those holes that are broken up. So, well, some work to do here in terms of choosing where they want to try and attack from. Looks like they're going for a very similar style of setup there. A very similar nade to what MNM used on their attacks to, at least against MNM, clear out the shield. BDS had theirs tucked a bit more off towards the east side, so not so easily collected. And Shaiko here just yeeting nades down towards VIP to try and force these players back. Nowhere near as aggressive as a whole coming out from MNM, mind you. They've already dug back towards site here, Tim.
50 seconds left to go, and I think MNM have done reasonably well. They've just burnt time. It's no problem. Out come the Toxic Babe canisters now to slow down that alley of a push. Shaiko does manage to open things up with 1 onto Users, but it's long range and it's not really supporting a push on towards site. 36 seconds left to go. Nello is going to be flashed out, but can get himself to safety. It does allow BDS BDS to push forward to a degree. They get themselves now inside a terrace, but the clock is going to become a problem for them again if they're not quick.
Well, Shaiko's found a second up here as well. A little bit peaky coming out from the side of MNM here, giving away 2 kills to the Frenchman. And now Nello's the one dug in deep. Got that critical location we always speak about. Do they know that he's there is the big question. Renshiro into another. 2 remaining. Nello finds one. Will he find the second? There's another one there, but one comes in behind. Does get shut down, but it's a 1v1. Neo drops away. Renshiro in full panic. Will not be able to plant in time. And MNM will win thanks to the clock.
Nello once again showing his prowess with the shotgun plays. We've seen it a few times this stage already, and he just continues to do the business on those tight angles with the shotgun, just really slowing down BDS's progress and ultimately leaving his teammate in a position of being able to just run and hide. Let the clock do the hard work so you don't have to, and BDS, they let another round slip by, not yet on match point opportunity, and MNM now 3-5. And BDS, I don't want to mention flashbacks, but I think if one more round goes by, they're going to be remembering that stage 1 game pretty clearly.
We have seen a very limited number of attacking wins today, Tim.
We have, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, did Overtime have 2 attacking wins, or was it defensive wins?
To say that some voices suggested attacker repick may break the game, the attackers certainly are struggling today.
Not bitter, are you, Tim?
Me, not at all.
No.
At the end of the day, everybody's welcome to their opinion. I'm just pointing merely out that it may not day-to-day be having the huge impact that we thought it might.
Interestingly, it's at a point where attackers, you know, we saw from Secret in their game against Pones, we've seen here in this game, especially for BDS, they are getting towards the site in a spot to be able to execute, but just the last leg of the journey isn't done. It's like finishing 80% of a project and you leave the last 20% out and realise, oh crap, I forgot the most important part here, actually finishing the job. And so I think for BDS, it's about that pace again here. I thought for a second we were in grayscale.
I thought we were, but then I thought...
the building is so grey.
I thought we were, but then I thought, no, it's just the air conditioning units, it's fine.
They're so grey and miserable.
And I think it was it Nomad repelling? So you've got beige on grey. It really didn't do anything to spark the colour out of the scene.
Modern design trend of the century.
Yeah, it didn't really do anything to spark the colour out of the scene.
Not really, no. Well, here we go again. Let's see how things shape up. We've got that pulse on side from Nello, and if you recall when BDS were playing this back in the first half, well, pulse was just a little bit useful, Tim. Tons of info being fed, ultimately helped with the assist on the final C4 that put the planter down that was the sledge, and fundamentally won the round for BDS out there. Now, they're still struggling to find that first attack themselves, BDS, and if they know, they've played the pulse themselves, they should know we've got to do some work first and foremost to stop that pulse just feeding C4s up for free.
In comes the pressure to Geisha. Nade goes in, just looking to clear any defenders out of there, and that's BDS at least confirming that they can get themselves into that area. Well, they've got it cleared out. They need to obviously look at karaoke as well. They've got Solitov in T, could be a problem. Shaiko manages to find a nice nade onto Nello. Not sure exactly where that one came, but it leaves us in a 5v4, and Shaiko with another entry kill. That's his second in a row now, and he's doing pretty well overall. I think it's at least 3 on the game, maybe 4.
Yep, I had the third one from round 4 as well. Yeah, he's doing very well for himself. Now, there's clearly quite a bit of focus. I mean, Shaiko really should be winning fights like that. He's walked in and pre-fired in towards Yusu's location, hits him, but we're just going a little bit too low there. More to the chest than it was to the head, unfortunate, because otherwise that would have created so much space for BDS. They're going to try and make this work anyway, and they're being punished for that now. The Candela's coming in. No one's pushing in on the top floor here. There comes the Nomad. Tyrant down to a slither of HP, and away he steps.
Lems does get the kill onto Neo, but he's going to be downed in the process. Solitov finishes him off, leaving us now 3v2, 3v1 as Tyrant gets Rafal, and things are starting to fall apart for BDS here. They're trying to move in behind the Yin Candelas, but it's not going to matter. Solitov can see you. Renshiro gets shut down, and that's going to be Eminem bringing us back now to 4-5, and they are in striking distance.
Is that like a peekaboo, I see you?
It certainly was.
You've done that far too many times with your daughter, mate, I imagine.
I wanted to...
Tell you what, that stack was lethal.
It was pretty lethal. Fresh was trolling a little bit.
Of course he was. Yeah, he was.
I mean, he team killed
He's looking at us going, nah, like his chat weren't dictating everything that he was meant to do.
He played a round on 1 sensitivity. He played a round on 50 sensitivity, a round on 100 sensitivity.
He played around muted.
This is Fresh, who normally plays on around 10. So, you know.
Man's just a serial troll.
He is. Honestly. But we still won. That's the key.
Killed me.
We still won, as Eminem might here. They were 5-1 down, and if Eminem come back with 6 clean defensive rounds and win this 7-5, and we have 1 attacking win in 12 rounds, A, that's ridiculous, and B, I'm a little bit worried about EU for Berlin. I was getting excited, but that will put me right back in my place. I was getting hopeful with Wolves and Rogue that we might. It's not black and white, Des, don't worry. Keep your eye on the diffuser. That's the key.
Turns out I'm colourblind all of a sudden.
Diffuser's the key. I was getting, Wolves Rogue. I'm thinking, yeah, we might have something going here.
Wolves Rogue heroic, really. I've got a lot of high hopes on.
I'm sort of, and then
I'm looking for the fourth. Who's the fourth one?
That's what I was thinking. We might actually not have a bad crop going to Berlin, and then I'll see a game where we might have 1 out of 12 attacking rounds won, and that concerns me.
Imagine if this is the trend for the entire day. And suddenly, all our hopes are dashed on one play day.
Oh, that sounds like EU. Right, we're going to have that double wall opened pretty sharpishly, I would have thought. Shaiko taking some damage there, going to use the nanobots just to juice himself back up. Double wall will indeed be opened. They are attacking onto Karaoke T, so that is only, I won't even say step 1, that's step 0.5 really, getting that open so you can start that push coming across from Exhibition and Office. They're going to be looking to find kills inside a Drum, inside a Dragon. We've seen it a couple of times. BDS, they stalled out last time. Eminem didn't really find an answer to get across from this side of the map. They're going to have to do something different, Des.
And neither did BDS on their attack earlier too. Yeah, both teams have gotten really stuck in trying to... This is what I said, is they do the first parts of the round quite well in terms of how they clear things out, the kills they find, the utility they remove, whatever. But when it comes around to the execute, both teams have just looked really lethargic and like they've not so much forgotten how to play Siege, but all the hard work they put in the early round is just very suddenly forgotten. Shaiko, I'm pretty sure that was just a chance spray from Tyrant that almost put Shaiko into an early grave.
The thing is, why not? If they're not pushing you into Dragon, you know that they probably stood in Terrace because they want to get Drum, they want to get Dragon. So there's a soft wall between the two.
So
spray a few shots through, you never know what you might get. You're not going to run out of ammo in Siege. It's very rare that you do, so why not? We've got the knock just sneaking around underneath here, Lems, but it's again quite late in the round. 1 minute 10 left on the clock, and he needs to get himself a move on. It's almost as if he's seeking somebody, searching for somebody at the minute, but he's going to have to get somewhere that he can have an impact. He's got an aid in hand, so he could maybe have a little vertical kill, but the Aruni is back up there. Usus is back to sight now.
Problem is as well, there's also a bar at the bottom of main stairs, so he can't exactly creep up there and kill the player that's so busy watching out towards Drum. Tyrant gets the entry. It feels like it's going to go much the same way again, like I said before. You could just try and ignore this and step up, but they know they've seen the Nook. They know that she's coming up these stairs. Nello just holding the angle, daring, waiting for him to try and be aggressive. He knows that he's there, but it's this kind of awkward 1v1 where, but for the most part at least, Nello can ignore the door. It's completely blocked off at this stage. Tyrant finds Shaiko. This is the dream they're looking for here. And here we go. Up comes the Nook. Not today. Nello finds the kill. 5v2. And for Eminem, it's looking like another super comfortable round.
You think that you can't be heard, but Nello certainly had his ear to the ground there as he picked up on that knock coming up the stairs. There's the peak from Tyrant. Double kill. Flawless round for Eminem. And they absolutely smashed that one out of the park and leave us now 5-5. Eminem picking up 4 rounds in a row here and only 2 away from a complete reverse sweep.
It's like I said in the pre-show as well, if Eminem win this game in regulation, they probably pull themselves so far ahead that for BDS it's nearly impossible to claw back a spot at the major, unless Heroic or Rogue, one of them has to lose later on today. They'll be in a position where we're looking at that and just thinking, is there a chance this really swings back the other way and someone can jump, or BDS can be able to jump over one of those two teams? It's hard. I'm pretty sure BDS have got Walls next week as well. That's not a team you want to be coming up against who are going to be no doubt hell-bent on making amends for how last week went in their game against Secret. It's just looking dicey for the French side if they can't pull this back now in these next couple of rounds. There's no timeout, there's no do-overs, and so far these rounds have only got more and more dominant for Eminem.
That's it. It's not even like BDS getting closer, is it? You know, it's... That time it was flawless. They just not... Last time, at least, they killed 3 of Eminem before they lost Karaoke T. This time, they couldn't find any of them. So we're heading back over to Exhibition. We saw it last in round number 8, and I'll give you 3 guesses who won it, Des.
Well, that'd be really weird, that, Tim. It must be Eminem.
Wow, you only needed 1. Right, so we head back into it. What are BDS going to have to do differently? For me, they need to pressure site. We haven't seen them get anywhere near site.
The viewers won.
Oh, the viewers always win, Des. We haven't seen them pressure site at any point. We haven't seen a realistic opportunity for BDS to put the diffuser down. That's now the pressure that I want to see Eminem under. And I want to see them displaced. I want to see BDS going in there and forcing them to move around. as you say, we've said it a couple of times, don't think they're getting enough out of the utility. Don't think they're moving people enough. Shaiko, he's going to move Neo on. He's going to move him onto the Netherrealm as he manages to get that opening kill once again. Shaiko giving BDS the lead, but can they hold on to it, or will they let it slip through their fingers again?
I like how there's more direct-to-site focus here as well, where all the attention is coming in through the actual breach itself, because rather than starting out towards the west side of the map and spending 2 minutes playing well, clearing things out, but being a little bit too slow and then starving out at the end here, all the focus is coming inside the first 60 seconds. We've got utility coming out from both sides. We've got aggression being shown. It's good stuff because now MNM are under pressure.
Nello going to be using that. No, he's not. He was going to be using the shotgun, but strays into a bad position there. He knows that that wall is open, and Playday is locked, loaded, ready to go. And this looks like it could be the attacking round that BDS need. The question is, can they get 2 in a row? If they do manage to lock this one down, vertical nade coming in from underneath, but it's going to be miles away. Users doesn't take any damage there. Eminem is still able to hold on, but in a 3v5 with 1 minute 30 left to go, you're going to think that they probably get this one to go towards BDS, but Solotov just absolutely taking down Shaiko there. They're throwing it away, Des!
They absolutely are, Tim. The problem is they've got no smokes. They've got nothing to execute with. They only had flashes and nades, so it was all about winning gunfights. That's why they're peeking angles. It's why they're trying to go aggressive. But Eminem, they have struck back with thunder here. There's only the 2 left alive. Renshiro back up on his feet there after being downed. We have still got bucket loads of time though, Tim, but I'm nervous. There's 2 impacts. There's a C4 in back pocket. Renshiro is looking like a real juicy prize right now.
The big problem here is BDS are just pushing from the double breach. There's nothing else to this, so Eminem can just line up and do exactly that. Pre-fire the breach. You're probably going to get one. I tell you what, have another dude pre-fire the breach again, user. She might just get another. There we go. He finds the final kill. Playday trades it out, but that is irrelevant in the grand scheme. 5 rounds in a row for Eminem. 6-5 match point, and they might, Des, just do this to BDS again.
I can't believe it. It's not quite the dramatic like round 6 timeout that leads to a full total sweep, but the timeout has led to a change in fortunes, Tim, and BDS. Oh, it's frustrating because they played so well in the first half. Like, this could be a clean 6-0, 6-0 set of halves here on the defensive side for both teams, if not for Eminem's real just crouch walk through and shoot everyone in the head and win the round for your team, essentially. It was a brilliantly played little play, but they're going to be absolutely kicking themselves. You can see what this does at the bottom of your screen as well. For Eminem, it pulls them up to a 93% chance of making it to the major if they win this round. For BDS, though, 9% if they lose this round, Tim. Oh, it's so painful.
I was just thinking then when you were talking, Des, I was just thinking...
I'm glad you're thinking and not listening.
Well, I was doing both, don't worry. I can multitask.
Fair play.
I was just thinking, you said it's 9% chance for BDS if they lose this game. Eminem, 93%.
Yeah,
don't you worry, I don't miss a word that you said.
Thanks, mate.
I was thinking of a word. What word would I use to sum up the BDS attacks? And the best I could come up with was toothless. There just hasn't been that final bite. They sort of get themselves into position, they sort of get ready to go, and then there's just nothing at the end. They just can't get those kills, they can't win those gunfights. Shaiko's picking up entry after entry, but they just can't do anything with it.
It's like a dud firework, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of whistling.
And there we go.
There's a lot of whistling and no bang at the end.
Let's not forget as well, Renshiro was 9-2. He has got 1 kill across like the last 7 rounds at this point. He's now 10-8. So as explosive as he was in the early rounds, the impact that we saw him having just hasn't existed since like round 3.
22 kills between Usus and Tyrant. You know, we need to start talking. We've done plenty of talking already, but we need to do more talking about this front line. You know, often I think the problem, and I think it's something Nello's picked up on in interviews as well, and that's why I'm going to reference it. We tend to pick up on a player for Eminem. We say, oh, what about Solotov today? What about Tyrant today? And Nello every time says, it doesn't matter. Solotov, Tyrant, Usus. They are the unit. And that's what we need to start focusing on. This is a TSM-esque lineup, where you've got that solid front 3, and that's how you've got to look at it, as one juggernaut of a unit.
I've said it since SI. They are like, back at SI at least, they were like a TSM light. They had the exact same formation, the front 3 and the supporting 2. They just couldn't quite get the same results, especially at 10 o'clock in the morning. But when all 3 of these guys are on, they look like genuinely one of the sharpest teams in the world. The problem is this stage, Tyrant's been a little bit quiet. It's why I said this game I was so glad to see him starting out out strong. He's carried on. He's 11-7, and that is where the threat comes from. Solotov bringing down Shaiko. Arguably the last chance that BDS had to keep themselves in this game. They've been completely shut out. MNM are going to hand it to BDS 6 rounds straight to give themselves the 3 rounds and all but tie themselves in to the Berlin Major.
You can see what it means to Nello there, straight up out of his seat. He knows what that means in terms of qualification to the Major. You know, I say it, you've mentioned it there, Des. I say it tongue in cheek. It looks like you're going to be going at this point, Eminem. It is odds on. You know, maybe think about the sleep schedule before you get there.
That'll be a little bit of adjusting ahead of then. Yep, no 10 a.m.
Give
games,
you
please.
a chance, please.